What's going on, you guys? This is Ron here with your stimulus check update, your second stimulus check update for Monday, November the 16th. I hope you guys are doing very well today. I've got several updates that I want to provide to you guys today, including the updates on the Senate election, the House election, as well as the presidential election, and the states that President Trump may actually be able to overturn and kind of turn this election around for himself. And also, many U.S. residents may be eligible for up to $1,500 per month for a maximum of $9,000. I'm going to share all of these details with you guys in this video, so you definitely want to watch this video until the very end to get all of this information. But first, I want to say welcome back to all my subscribers. I really appreciate you guys, and for those of you who are brand new to the channel, my name is Ron. We cover all things personal finance, investing, and how to generate multiple streams of income, not to mention stimulus check updates and stimulus package updates. So if you haven't already, definitely subscribe to the channel and tap that notification bell so you know as soon as I release new videos and content. And of course, don't forget to hit the link in the description down below so that you can access my Financial Freedom Masterclass, where I share all of my credit hacks, my credit secrets, and investing strategies and tips so that you can actually be able to retire early. So definitely check that out. Link in the description down below. But anyway, guys, let's jump into the content. And since the presidential election as well as Senate and House elections have just about everything to do with how quickly we will see the second round of stimulus checks for the American people, let's quickly take a look at the Senate and House election results. So just looking at 270 to 1, 270 to win, we can see that the Democrats here are sitting at 219 seats in the House of Representatives, and the Republicans are holding and have claimed 206 seats in the House of Representatives. As we can see here, we still have about 10 seats that are still up in the air. However, we can pretty much see that the Democrats are guaranteed to hold a majority, at least by a narrow margin, going into the year 2020, because even if the Republicans were to take up these remaining 10 seats that are outstanding, that only puts the Republicans at 206 and the Democrats are still sitting at 219. So just like 2020, we're ending the year with the House of Representatives being led by a Democratic Party. Now, let's quickly take a look at the Senate results. Let's see if we're getting any closer to a confirmation on who's going to be. All right, so we've got Democrats sitting at 48 seats. We've got Republicans sitting at 50 seats here as well. So it looks like the two seats are still up in the air. We don't know who's going to get those last two seats. Could go to the Democrats. It might make it 50-50, perfectly evenly balanced Senate. But the Republicans could get the other two. We'll have to just wait and see on that one. And it looks like the remaining two seats are going to be decided out of Georgia. And quickly, let's take a look at the presidential election. And as we can see, Joe Biden is sitting at 306. President Trump is sitting at 232. And, I've gotten a lot of feedback from you guys. I know a lot of you guys were kind of upset that I was using the term President-elect Biden, but then others have supported my use. And I've gotten about a 50-50 response from you guys in terms of my use of the terminology President-elect with regard to candidate Joe Biden. So I just wanted to quickly touch base on that because, I probably have about 50-50, Democrats and Republicans following me. And I try to stay pretty much middle of the road. I'm not trying to be, biased toward any direction. Not only do I not want to offend anyone, but, I don't really associate with either party. I just kind of call things as I see them. However, the reason why I've been doing that is because if we look here, we can see that that candidate Biden has 306 votes here, electoral votes, and President Trump is sitting at 232 electoral votes. Now, technically, candidate Biden has enough electoral votes to effectively win the presidency. However, technically, he hasn't officially won yet. And I say officially, and here's why. So first of all, president-elect is a descriptive term, not an official office. And so what that means is that candidate Joe Biden really doesn't have any governmental powers until he's actually inaugurated. And that won't happen until January 20th, assuming that President Trump doesn't overturn the state's decisions that are currently kind of up in the air at this point. And the reason why it's not official yet is because the certification election tally hasn't actually commenced yet. In fact, the U.S. election won't be officially certified for weeks. First, election officials in each of the country's 50 states and the District of Columbia must certify the official vote count for Biden and for Trump. numerous states are still counting ballots from Tuesday's elections and the weeks of early voting. So ultimately, votes are still actually coming in and they're still being counted. Mail-in votes are still being counted. So technically, with votes still being counted, we don't really know the official outcome of the election. However, the US elects its president through an indirect form of democracy. In the 538-member Electoral College, where a majority of 270 votes are needed to claim the presidency. The most populous states hold the most sway in determining the outcome, not the popular vote. So a lot of you guys were asking me about the electoral vote and, how does that actually work? And so this may actually answer a lot of questions. So a lot of people were asking me, about the electoral vote versus the popular vote. So the popular vote is actually, the number of individuals like me and you that go out to the polls and vote. That's that total number. That is the popular vote. It's actually counting the individual votes from individual people like me and you who've actually gone out and voted for one way or the other. Now, then you have the electoral vote, and essentially there's a number of electoral votes assigned to each state. Now, here's where the popular vote comes in. Based on the popular vote, whoever was more popular in terms of the individual votes from like people like me and you, that will determine who receives the electoral votes that are assigned to each state. So let's take Georgia, for example. And so if we were to look at Georgia right now, we can see that Joe Biden is up by about 0.3%, right? Now, 0.3%, and he is ahead of President Trump by looks like about 15,000 votes. So it's a very close race here. But whoever wins Georgia, even if it's only by a couple of votes, they would receive all 16 votes from the state of Georgia, and the state of Georgia's 16 votes are electoral votes. So I hope that kind of explains things on that standpoint. But technically, since the votes are still being counted, we don't really know who the next president will be yet. And both Biden and Trump have state-by-state lists of pledged electors who then cast their votes in the Electoral College in mid-December. And in fact, this year, this actually takes place on December 14th. So technically, not until December 14th will we actually have the official certification from all the states that will indicate who the official winner is. Now, with that being said, a lot of people are saying that President Trump can still overturn this election. However, let's realistically look at this and see what would need to happen in order for President Trump to walk away with this election. So first and foremost, he'd have to overturn 4 states. So let's take Georgia, for example. Georgia has 16 electoral votes, and President Trump is down by approximately 15,000 votes. So he'd have to overturn 15,000 votes in order for him to be able to claim Georgia as a winning state, for him to get the 16 electoral votes out of Georgia. Next, he'd have to overturn Nevada, and Nevada is looking like approximately 33,000 vote gap. So President Trump would have to overturn 33,000 votes just for the state of Nevada. Pennsylvania is another one. President Trump would have to overturn, what is that? That looks like about 65,000 votes, something like that. So these are big numbers. These are very big numbers. I mean, the closest one that I've come across so far was for Georgia, and that was 15,000 votes. And then let's have a look at Arizona. President Trump would have to overturn about 11,000 votes. So Georgia and Arizona are President Trump's biggest opportunities in terms of overturning states. But, just looking at the numbers. So if you look at the sheer math, it's definitely not impossible. But if you think about it, he has to not only overcome 1 state, not 2 states, not 3 states, but he has to overcome all 4 states. So essentially, even if he overcame 3 states, that still doesn't give President Trump the win. So ultimately, he has to overturn all 4 states. So I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just not probable. President Trump has been uncharacteristically quiet ever since the November 3rd elections. However, President Trump did recently speak on the virus vaccines, and I did want to quickly share this information with you guys. So here is President Trump right here.
As soon as April, the vaccine will be available to the entire general population, with the exception of places like New York State, where, for political reasons, the governor decided to say, and I don't think it's good politically, I think it's very bad from a health standpoint, but he wants to take his time on the vaccine. He doesn't trust where the vaccine's coming from. These are coming from the greatest companies anywhere in the world, greatest labs in the world. but he doesn't trust the fact that it's this White House, this administration. So we won't be delivering it to New York until we have authorization to do so, and that pains me to say that. This is a very successful, amazing vaccine at 90% and more. But so the Governor Cuomo, will have to let us know when he's ready for it. Otherwise, we can't be delivering it to a state that won't be giving it to its people immediately. And I know the people of New York very well. I know they want it. So the governor will let us know when he's ready. He's had some very bad editorials recently about this statement and what's happened with respect to nursing homes and his handling of nursing homes. And I hope he doesn't handle this as badly as he's handled the nursing homes. But we're ready to provide it as soon as they let us know that they'll actually use it. And again, it's a very safe and a great vaccine.
So there you have it, guys. But I'd like to get you guys' feedback. So President Trump is saying that the governor of New York is essentially, not open to receiving or not open to administering this newly created vaccine. Now, of course, if the vaccine were to be provided to New Yorkers and it's not being administered, then of course that's a lot of vaccines that, is pretty much just sitting on the shelves, and they could effectively have been, provided to other states where they're more willing to, administer the vaccine, and people are actually going to be able to use it and benefit from it. I'd love to ask you guys, though. I know I've got a lot of viewers from New York and even obviously outside of New York, but I'd like to get you guys' feedback. In the event that the vaccine becomes available in your state, will you be taking the vaccine? I'd love to know what you guys' take is on that. I've heard a lot of positions on, whether or not the vaccine is legitimate. Is it really safe? Is there something else in this vaccine? I've heard a lot of different positions on the vaccine. So I just like to hear from you guys, from my audience, just to get a general consensus from where you guys stand. And not only do I keep up with the federal level stimulus packages, stimulus check updates, as well as unemployment insurance benefits and any other type of federal level mortgage and rental assistance, but I also try to keep up with the state level, local, city, county level stimulus package and stimulus check assistance for the American people. In this case, I've got Philadelphia here, and it looks like Philadelphia will be distributing more financial relief to renters and small businesses. An additional $30 million in Federal CARES Act funding will be distributed to Philadelphia renters and small businesses. Housing officials instated an eviction moratorium last July that extends to March 2021, but renters must eventually pay up. It says here that direct rental assistance is critical to ensuring public health and housing security for thousands of Philadelphians. According to City Council member Maria Quinones, she also said that I am particularly encouraged that the City Council, the administration, and the courts collaborated with renters and property owners to simplify the program. I look forward to continued public-private partnerships as we chart a new normal. It says here that if approved, a tenant could receive up to $9,000 in assistance. Each eligible tenant that applies gets a one-time payment of up to 6 months of assistance, though monthly rent is capped at $1,500. So this is effectively $9,000 up for grabs, if not $1,500 per month for the next 6 months for eligible Philadelphians. And it goes on to say that under the CARES Act funding, the city could provide 2 phases of rental assistance to tenants and landlords. Nearly 13,000 Philadelphians applied for rental assistance last May under phase 1, and 4,000 households received up to $2,500 in aid. So don't forget to share this video on Facebook. If you happen to have any friends, family, who live in Philadelphia, they would definitely be able to benefit from this information. A lot of families are struggling out there. So, I definitely try to keep on top of, any information that I could potentially share with the community that could help someone out there. So anyway, guys, that's all for this stimulus check update and stimulus package update. If you haven't already, definitely subscribe to the channel and definitely hit that notification bell so that you know as soon as I release new videos and content. And I will see you guys on the next one. Take care.